Hello and welcome to the Hypnosis Side Hustle Show. My name is Rick Paddock. I'm your host. And yes, this is a show, a program all about creating a hypnosis business, clinical hypnotherapy practice as a side hustle, part-time in addition to your full-time job. I'm so excited to welcome back Zoilita Grant. Zoilita is a hypnotic success coach. She coaches entrepreneurs and small business people, helping them achieve their goals. And she was a previous guest here on the Hypnosis Side Hustle program. And we talked about so many things, but we didn't get to talk about enough. So welcome back, Zoilita.
Thank you so much for having me. I love sharing with people.
Thank you. I can tell. And we packed a lot into the last episode, but once we, clicked off on the recording, I knew there was more, and we talked a little bit, and you said, oh my gosh, there's so much more. So our last episode, we talked about creating that mindset of success, creating the habits of success, that it is realistic to be a part-time hypnosis practitioner and create a six-figure income. That's where you start. So where do you go from there once you have the mindset and the habits?
So you just need to develop three distinct skill sets. And the reason that I'm saying that they are skill sets is because they're skills within skills. And the reason I'm calling them distinct is that as a heart-centered professional, you need to do them differently than you may have seen them done in the past. The number one thing you need to do is you need to master your business skills. Now, many times people that are very heart-centered and caring have a negative reaction to business. They've seen business people be ruthless. They may even work for businesses that feel kind of ruthless to them. So I want you to be able to recognize that you could do business in a different way. You could do business with ethics and integrity, but learning those business skills are critical. You have to know how to manage your time. You have to be able to be really organized. You have to be able to know how to get blocks out of the way and do possibility thinking. You have to be able to manage your encounters with other people. These are all business skills that can be learned in an ethical way. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And as you're describing it, it makes perfect sense. And you're right. A lot of us heart-centered, service-oriented people that get into the fields have had experience where those aren't what we've seen modeled aren't an example of what we want to be. But your point is you can master them on your terms, business skills, on your in a way that feels right, that's ethical, but you still need to master these skills.
You need to master these skills. Even if we get divine inspiration, and many of us get divine inspiration, we cannot sit around all day and wait for divine inspiration.
Right.
We have to be able to create steps and movement and action. So mastering the business skills is the first one. The second one is create a strategic plan. I cannot believe how many small business owners I've worked with that have no plan. Okay, I live in the mountains of Colorado. I know that New York is basically east. I could head out and keep the sun in front of me every morning and make my way to New York, or I could get a map and plan my route.
Save a lot of time, get there more efficiently.
Yeah, stop over on places I like. Okay. Henry Ford was very famous for saying, fail to plan, plan to fail.
Yeah.
So you need to put together a plan.
So
when you have a dream and you write it down, it becomes a goal. When you create action steps connected to the goal, it begins to become a plan. When you follow your plan, it becomes your life or your business.
I love that. So you answered the question I was formulating in my mind. So as a serial entrepreneur, this is my third business. I know the reluctancy to create a strategic business plan, but really it's simply starting at the end and working back.
Yes, begin with the end result in mind.
And create those steps, as you said, those action steps, create a plan of following those action steps, creating some accountability, and
Hmm.
there's your strategic plan.
Yep.
I love it. It's so
And then
important.
the last point to master is the concept of marketing. And marketing is all about that message-based marketing. Thinking of yourself as giving people an opportunity to make an informed decision. That's what I think of marketing.
I love it. I like to say that marketing is really sharing, and that's kind of what you're saying. You share your message so that your potential buyer can make an informed decision. And so our only role is to share clearly, confidently what our message is.
Yes. And the message is not, I work with anxiety and stress. The message is, I help people to develop inner calm, to be able to be more comfortable with their life, to be able to make successful personal decisions. So when we think about our message is really benefit orientated rather than an explanation of ourselves and what we do.
So critical. So critical. So it's not what we do or how we do it, but the benefit that our clients, that our audience will get by working with us.
And even though when we look about the world, it's hard not to get pulled down by the things going on, I really believe inside of myself that it's all about consciousness. And the more and more conscious people come, the better and better decisions and choices they make. And so I see hypnosis practitioners as midwives of consciousness.
I like that. So consciousness is a very loaded term, open for interpretation. How do you define it?
I think that consciousness is a state of mind that is a little bit like a cable TV system that is connected into your particular mindset. So if your mindset is a mindset of prosperity and abundance, then your consciousness tends to live in realms that support that. If your mindset is a mindset of scarcity and want, then your consciousness is filled with worry and anxiety and depression and what bad will happen next.
That makes sense. I love it. That's a great definition. And so hypnosis practitioners, midwives of the consciousness, um, help our clients choose the channels that they are tuning into regularly.
Yes, and also helps them move out of stuck places. If you're stuck in AM radio and all of a sudden you move into a place of FM radio where there are no commercials, you might feel much more positive.
I love that. That's such a great analogy. Yeah. So the work that we do is, and we see it in our clients all the time. The awareness. It's like I didn't even know these channels, these stations, these bands were out there.
Yes, exactly.
That's fantastic.
Exactly.
So those are three critical skill sets you said
Mm-hmm.
to develop. How does one go about developing those?
I'm an educator, so I'm highly impressed with education. And that's one of the reasons that I've created the kind of products that I've created, because they're designed to teach and train people to do things. that help them to grow and develop in their practice and in their personal life. So we are open to learning. Our minds need to be open. We need to know that we don't really know everything. We can be very, very good with our hypnosis skills, but if we don't know the skills of how to create a plan, how to run our business mechanics, how to effectively market, we won't be successful.
All those things you mentioned are skills and processes that we can learn.
Yes. And they're definitely not rocket science.
And like so many things we do, we can learn them and then practice until they become habit. And then we've mastered, as you said, those skills.
And a really good thing to do is to use our hypnotic processes to do mental rehearsals of us being able to do those skills.
So do you have an example?
So I have an example in the fact that let's imagine that one of the things that a person is challenged with is organization.
Yeah.
And they're challenged with organization and they have a lot of resistance to the organization. So one of the things that you can help people do is imagine themselves organizing something. I have this process called the inner workshop. And the inner workshop has 4 different sections. There's a sanctuary where you can meet with your own inner self to discuss things. There is a resource center where you have access to all information in the universe. There is a planning and development center where you plan, develop, design. And there is a movie theater where you watch yourself being able to achieve things. So I could actually take someone through this whole experience where they go meet with their inner self about why it is that they need to be more organized, so they get it from the inside. They go to the resource center where they get to have information on organizational skills from the cosmic computer into their mind. They go into the resource center where they plan an organization or system they need to work on. And then they go to the movie theater and they watch themselves doing it.
That's awesome.
And then they go out in the world and they do it, Rick. It's almost like magic.
It's so powerful. It seems so simple, and it is. And you've just walked them through a process where internally they've released the resistance, they've found their own answers, they've seen themselves already do it, and it just unfolds naturally, whether it's organization or any of these other skills they were looking to master.
I have them create words of power that also reinforce that.
Little auditory or
so there they are, they're watching that movie, and then they step into the movie and they feel what it feels like to do that. And then I say, if you had words of power that you could say to yourself that would help you to keep on your organizational journey, what would those words be? And then we use those as an affirmation.
Again, personal to them. They came up with it.
Yep.
So powerful.
And so fun.
Yeah.
So fun, because when someone can like go out and then completely, they come back and they say, I completely organized my office. I am so excited.
When they never thought it was possible before.
But they never thought it was possible. Yes.
So we're in congruence with, the confidence and mindset is a foundation that needs to be there, and we can step into it so naturally, quickly, and easily. But the skills, the confidence, that doesn't matter if we're not getting people to call us, to click on the link, to walk through our door. And so, in addition to mastering these skills, is there any one?
So this is client enrollment.
Yeah.
Client attraction, client enrollment, client retention. Okay. So bottom line is, if you want to get clients fast, get out in front of people. Get out in front of people. Get out in front of people. Blog. Get out in front of people, network. You know, there are all kinds of networking groups that you can join. Meetup.com is really a good source of networking groups in your area. The Sunday paper usually has groups that are going to be meeting for the coming week. Public speak, okay? Speak to the public. So this is a good time, you know, in the late summer for people to get speakers for the fall. Rotary, Optimus, Kiwanis, Lions, all these service clubs will get speakers. People are interested in what you do.
It's a huge benefit that we have no matter where we go. And you tell people you're a hypnotist or hypnotherapist or a hypnotic coach, and they're like, what? There's interest.
Yes. Yeah, it's not like, oh, you're a podiatrist? How interesting. It's like, oh, hypnosis.
Yeah, how many
Yes.
times do we hear, what? You're the first one I've ever met, you know? And
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. So that's wonderful. It's about talking to people, getting in front of people, all the different ways you mentioned, and so many more.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We've covered those 3 critical skill sets and so much more. Zoilita Grant, if people want to get hold of you, what's the best way?
So it's my website, www.mindset, one word, -FOR-success.org. And there are lots of free articles in the blog. In fact, Rick, if you'd like to write a blog, because that's another way of getting out in front of people, is writing blogs and publishing them. I have guest bloggers.
Thank you. I'll take you up on that offer.
Okay.
So again, it was mindset-for-success.org.
Yes.
Zoilita Grant, thank you not only for joining us today for so much wisdom that you shared in this episode, your last visit, but for all that you do in the world.
Thank you so much for having me.